Perfection waits for no man. Anyway, hi, Zeospantera, your host of In-Ear Fetish, Z Reviews, Z Cooks, Z Unboxing, and Zeo's second channel, and I stream twice a week on Twitch. Wallpaper in the Horde, mousepad in the description. That is the fucking topping LA90 Discrete. And it makes no sense. Because here's the thing. All right, A90 right here, right? Boom, A90. We waited forever and a day, and then the A90D came out, and it was discrete, and it had all the different options, and it was better. It was just better. It was just better. We didn't wait very long between the LA90 and the LA90 Discrete, and then my crocodile brain completely forgot that it's cheaper than the LA90. And here's the thing. They discontinued the LA90 and replaced it wholeheartedly with the Discrete. So I haven't combed over the things. This arrived today. This arrived an hour and a half ago. I unboxed it. I finished eating my food as fast as I could in front of it because it's just silver. I listened to approximately 35 seconds worth of music on this setup, what we got going on here. And this is going to probably be another one of those multi-part video reviews of the LA90 because there's not been a device that I've used as consistently as this ever on the channel, period. Because I have two of these because I asked Apos, who was nice enough to send out the first one, and then the second one so I could try it in monoblock, and now the Discrete version, and there might even be a second one for the Discrete version, because again, monoblock testing. But this has lived on my desk here to play IEMs and headphones and power things like electrostatic energizers. This is the be-all, end-all, fuck you, done. It was $900. It was a lot of money, but it was 50 watts a channel, and everything up to like 10 or 12, or I don't even know where the wattage began to start registering distortion, was perfect. And if you just plug like a standard headphone into it, you can get perfect easy. Get it easy. The only thing that beats these as far as like speaker amps, at least this one, was the Stark Rimson monos, which actually they're roughly the same price as getting two of these. But now the Discrete's out, and I had this set up anyway because I was showing off the Woo electrostatic energizer. So I'm like, oh, I hope this arrives today, and it did. And 30 seconds of a song, because this is the IFI IESL, and it has a unique property that it can accept both it accepts essentially an extension of a headphone amp. So you have a balanced headphone out with 4-pin XLR. You can build a wire and plug it in. Luckily, I already built that cable. You can check out that video for the this cable thing I built, which adapts it so I can use it for headphones and IMs on my second channel. And I plugged it into this, and I'm like, all right, I'm using it on the balanced input. And then this arrives today, and I'm like, well, I have a speaker input, so I use the same mica cables. Actually, the pair I shortened to like 4 feet because I needed shorter ones. So they're the same wires with similar length going into what should be the same thing, and I might actually swap the wires around to make sure they're the same power supplies. They're both 64 volt 4 amp, which is not a baby power supply. I want to see the laptop that needs a 64 volt 4 amp power supply. So I have them both plugged in to the same Geshelli Labs distribution DAC, which I still haven't done a video on, and I apologize. I'll eventually get to it, but it's really just like a board, and it's fragile because they're like, don't break this, so I don't want to break it. But same exact DAC source, same exact wires into this unit, and then it's just a switch to go between this input or this input into fucking stacks. And I haven't done the L700s yet. I've just been on my 207 Ultras, which you just trust me on this. And within 30 seconds, I'm like, I gotta put a sticker on this. So that's Maki? No, that's not Maki. That's not the one who clothes fall off in Fire Force. The other one, the Gorilla, the Cyclops Gorilla. Because that's what this is. This is a Cyclops Gorilla. Because I could hear a difference. It doesn't even matter right now if I think it's better or worse. All I needed to know is that this is $100 cheaper than this was ever new. And there's a difference. Because now I get to actually pay attention. And I figured the stacks would be the first thing to go about it. Next, I'll be hooking up either this cable to do actual headphone comparisons, and I got to do speakers in a whole other video. So for now, let's just look at it. Let's pretend you've never seen an LA90. What's an LA90, Zeos? I should get the third one to show you, because not much has changed. So heavy aluminum chassis. These fins, they don't look it. Do I have anything thin and long to stick in a thing? I had a knife upstairs. These fins are like 1.5 inches deep. So there is a lot of heatsink on both sides of this. Then the back of the heatsinks here are open to the inside of the unit. Gold feet, huge vents in the bottom. By the way, like bulletproof thick aluminum. This is like 4 or 5 millimeter aluminum plate on the bottom. Probably similar on the top. In fact, it just is similar on the top. There's a picture on APOS of the actual insides of this, and it's just, I don't want to take this apart because it's just too much. Top, completely flat. There's a space right here where there used to be a high-res audio sticker. Peel that shit right off. Apply stickers that actually matter and make a difference. You got that, you got this. The front is a hold to turn off power button. Press once to turn on. Huge smooth volume knob. And then you press this temporarily or momentarily and you get your 3 different inputs. And here's where this becomes the most used device on my channel, because it has 3 XLR inputs for full balanced. Or in the center here, you could put 1/4-inch adapters, which I have some stuck in back there. So you can make these RCA inputs, which means I could have 3 different independent sources, whether I'm comparing 3 DACs or 3 different setups or preamping from like a tube to this. And then I can just in the front go click, 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 and switch between them. So that's fucking rare and fantastic. There's not many, especially in headphone amps, usually you get a balanced set of inputs and then an RCA, maybe even 2 RCA, but only 1 balanced. This unit's so big, you get both. By the way, big slots here, I gotta double check. There are big slots there, they're just not as visible because it's black. You got your 5-way binding posts out. Your power plug for your 64 volt is actually a screw-in here, screw-in terminal. You got a 12 volt trigger in, so you can turn this. This will not trigger out, it'll trigger in. So you have another piece of equipment that you want to trigger out into this to turn this on, you could do it. All these wires are in the way. We're gonna try to flip it over. You get 4 things here. You get a USB-C firmware updater. So if it works the same way, I think, was it the LA90D that did this? You plug this in and it'll pop up on your computer as like a USB device that has storage, and you drag the firmware file into it, you let it go, and then you turn the unit back on, and then it's like, all right, firmware updated, done. Fucking wild how cool that is. You get your 3 switches, volume bypass, so you could turn it into a power amp and not use the volume knob in the front. Stereo or mono switch, because again, you can mono block this. You need to use this little jumper here to jump the bottom 2, and then your top 2 become positive and negative, and you could use it. And the big difference being the new Discrete actually lists ratings to 4 ohms. When I did the standard LA90 in monoblock, it was, here's how strong it is in 4 ohms and 8 ohms when you're using it in stereo, and here's how strong it is in 8 ohms when you're using it in monoblock. Only 8 ohms. I tried it in monoblock for like 6 ohm speakers, didn't sound very good. This will now work down to 4 ohms in monoblock configuration. I'm excited. And then your last switch after mono and stereo is high and low. We currently have high gain to push into this because the IESL just sucks power, just sucks it out. And that's it. It's a pretty basic unit, except for the couple switches back here that let you, and they're easy enough to give it the reach around and feel like, you know, that first switch is high and low gain, and you're probably not gonna put it in stereo or mono from a reach around. You definitely wanna miss the bypass switch. You don't wanna bypass your volume, so that's all the way on the end. And oh, it's a chunky boy. Or girl, I'm not judging. I did put a woman on, I put women on a lot. Does that mean all the equipment that I have is gender biased to a female because it's all women stickers? I need more dude stickers now. Bring the dude stickers, or stickers of myself, or stickers of Dan the IT man, for those of you who know who that is. He's the best. So let's plop this back down on the desk. Turn our lovely, just like the nicest, it's a perfect knob too. I don't want to feel like I'm biased, but if a knob is small and low and it's hard to touch, I don't want to touch it. I want a big knob that's right in my hands, like boom. And that's just, it feels like power. So now the magic we're dealing with, or the magic we're playing with, is the balance versus speaker on this through some stacks. And I was doing my best to balance the volumes. I didn't get out my sound pressure level meter yet, but I balanced the volumes as best I could, and I'm just back and forth, old and new, expensive and cheap, expensive and relatively cheap. It's $100 less. And it's weird because it was doing things that I can only describe as, hold on. See if I can get another song that's doing it. Actually, that was the Pink Floyd that was doing it. It's makes the sound either wider or narrower, depending. I don't know. I checked. If the thing is good, I'm going to swap the XLRs to make sure it's not this particular output on the balance stack is doing it versus this. Make sure the wire connection, because the connection in this might be changed for this. But there's an actual soundstage tweak. Just a little one. Enough to notice it, but not enough to say like, oh, well, this is obviously consistent every time. But when you go with the discrete amplification, if we go to the topping page and we talk about bringing the magic of NFCA circuitry to your speakers, a high-fidelity audio solution that brings the benefit of discrete NFCA power amplifier circuitry to your listening sessions. This is a brand new iteration of the LA90 model that features greater power in stereo mode, advanced signal-to-noise ratio for cleaner amplification, and wider dynamic range for even greater sonic reproduction. Blah, 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 blah. Can I hear it? I'm hearing something. This, by the way, is now 66 watts times 2 instead of 50 watts times 2. Not a big gain. 16 watts is a little bit, but but in mono mode, claiming at 4 ohms 180 watts and at 8 ohms 220. The Drake, what do you want? Thank God he's cute. 143 decibel signal to noise, 3 zeros total harmonic distortion plus noise, 0.0001, blah 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 blah. None of this matters. There, you can see the heat sinks, which are separate fucking huge entities. I'm not ready to review this yet, but I wanted to film the enthusiasm because I don't get enthused. Look at that setup. I can make that happen. Actually, no, wait, that's the pre-90. I don't have that. You could have these both. You could have 2 of them. You couldn't do it with mismatched. You could do it mismatched. You'd have to set the volume knobs, this one higher than this one to get the same. But why would you want to do that? But, oh my fucking God. First of all, in silver, I was like, I know the LA90, the A90D is just much nicer in silver, much nicer than like any of the black topping stuff. The silver shit is just fuck. So we'll deal with that in a bit. The real test is not going to be what I'm doing here with stacks. The real test is going to be when I plug IEMs into this, super lightweight loads, and then headphones, HD 600s. When I finally get the tungstens here, the new Mod House, because we were playing with it on this, and it sounded okay on this, but it's got like 78 decibel sensitivity. It's ridiculous, and it's like I was pushing it, but it was like I was pushing it. This might be able to do it just easy. Right, hold on. Oh, it's way louder, way bass. Yeah, it's literally the weirdest thing. It's like focus center, farther center, focus center, farther center. Which one's right? I don't know yet. I've had this hooked up. I have 45 seconds of listening before I started this video. This is what Zeos is like, that he doesn't record it. When I do an unboxing, I'm excited, and then it's sort of like, I'll put it on the side, I'll get to it. No. Slap. We give it so much damn audiophilia in this thing, especially at $100 less. I gotta start the review now. So this is probably part 1 of a multi-part review. So the next one you'll see will be after I've done hours and 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 probably a few hundred minutes of listening to headphones and IEMs and dynamic things or non fucking electrostatic things, so I can be a little bit more like what you're gonna probably use it for. If you have stacks or if you have any ear speakers and you have something that can convert, usually a power amp, this one will convert from a normal just headphone out, but I don't recommend it unless you're really going for it. Caravan Palace again. There is a significant difference. It's one of the things I liked about the LA90 over the A90D was the LA90 felt warmer. The A90D felt a little bit too clean, which is what the discrete circuitry probably did. But here's the thing. The power output now of this, even if you clean it up, which is like asking for something, there's so much power that nothing has to worry about it. So I don't think I'm losing warmth. I think I'm losing, I don't want to, I've trusted this too much to go and shit on it now. Just because the new boys on the block or the new girls on the block. Okay, we're not talking about that. I don't want to be like, oh, well, obviously this is a superior thing. First of all, it's $100 cheaper. Why? How'd they do that? Why discontinue this one and then make this one the only thing like immediately, like boom, not give them the option. So usually when a company does that, I'm gonna be my doubting Danny right now. If you completely remove an old device to make room for a new device that's cheaper, that means it's much cheaper for you to develop and sell. So either that's the case here, or they literally just said, this is so much better than this, fuck it. Fuck it. Or they couldn't get parts for this anymore because supply chain issues. And they wouldn't tell you that. They'll just be like, yeah, by the way, the new Discrete's out. There is a 20% on these, on the this is the first time I'm listening to these 700s. I gotta swap wires. I gotta swap something. Something's gotta get swapped because the soundstage increase on that is literally like but maybe that's bad. Maybe like the vocals are now. It doesn't make any sense that would be bad, but it's a blatant. It's like going from a solid state to a tube level of like focus out there, focus out there. Why? When? How? You guys might have to wait another day, 2 days. Maybe I'll bring this out 3 days in a row. I don't know. That means your brother's fucking up the wood, isn't he? That son of a bitch. That's the Drake. Hi, the Drake. How you feeling? You excited about the LA90 Discrete? They won't let me touch them. You're going to be here a year next month. A year. It's fine. I'm used to it. It's hard to get the balance right too because there is more power to this one, so it's like it's not the same. It's got to be like slightly off. I think just even if this was just a $100 off sale, I'd be excited. But the fact that they've changed enough to make it actually sound different, and I can't quite nail down if it's better for everything yet. But I made this fucking video. You got to use that wallpaper. I kind of want to I just want to keep reusing. Oh, he's playing with the, look, he's like a cat and everything, and he's 10 years old. He's playing with the plug connector from the LA90, because it was one of those protector things on the plug, and I just chuck it over there, and it's just plastic, and he's plasticking it. It's nice having a cat. Like a cat that's actually like a cat. So he doesn't sleep in my face, because it want nothing to fucking do with me. Anyway. It like steps you back just a little bit from the music. And again, it could be this thing, it could be the fact that the different inputs, something's weird. I'll come back and I'll explain. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I'll come back in 20 minutes when I figure it out. All right, good news or bad news. The balance versus speaker input makes the soundstage thing a thing. So calm down, Z. I was kind of worried, honestly, that if it was that big a change, would I like it or dislike it? Would I still be using my original? So I swapped the speaker outputs. Now this has got my built cable. This is now going into the balanced input, and this is now going to the speaker input, and now this one has more soundstage. So if you have, now what we've learned is if you have an IESL, use the speaker inputs and not the balanced input to get more soundstage. Okay, we're good with that? All right. This was like a panic announcement of like my favorite audio thing is now updated in here. I got to check for firmware. I doubt there's new firmware for it. We're gonna call this review before I just keep going fucking nuts, because this is my electrostatic test. This is my electrostatic test. Does it run it? Fuck yeah. Do it sound like stacks? It do. It do be dude like that sometime. I just have to use the standard speaker cables. So the next time I bring up a video of this, it'll be using this versus this straight out to, shit, do I gotta build another cable? because I could use the one from Double Helix, but everyone will be like, the Double Helix one is better because it's silver. And I'll be like, but copper. So yeah, Patreon, Subscribe Star, support this channel. Yell at me if you don't like me doing videos without any prep, because this was an excited non-preppy one. But I'm excited. That's why I like being excited about audio gear, especially stuff that's like I mean, this is like high-end shit, but I know there's at least 15% of you that are like, I can easily buy that Zeos. Give me the reason to buy 3. So boom. Patreon, Subscribe Star, support this channel. See reviews early, participate in yard sales, get access to sound demos, which all sound demos will now be done probably on the Discrete. If I just retire this or I move this or sell one in the yard sale, I only need one of these if I'm not using a monoblocked, and I could probably sell it. But right now I had one for the desk, one for the speaker space, but now I only have one. Point is, $5 a month, see reviews early, participate in yard sales. Here's sound demos. $10 a month, private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, where you could ask me questions directly, you could ask other people questions directly, and you get into a lifetime swap meet channel for buying, selling, and trading gear. Like if you have an original LA90 and you want to buy the Discrete, maybe you put the LA90 in there now while you see this. We haven't verified yet, but if you maybe you go in there and you sell it and you get this one, you put the... is it Maki? No, God damn it, I'll look up her name between this video and the next. All right, I'm going to go plug this into headphones now. Wallpaper description. Fi-Fi guides.